Welcome back to another episode of On the Subject. I'm your host, Michael Vilardo, co-founder and CEO of Subject, subject.com. You know where to find us, and we're so excited today. We're highlighting the most innovative educators in the country, and we took an incredible trip to Las Cruces, New Mexico. And with us today is an education veteran, an incredibly passionate, authentic person, Todd Lindsay, Superintendent of Tularosa. Thank you so much for coming out today. I really appreciate you.
Thank you guys for having me.
So, why do you love education? Why did you get into education?
Why did I get into education? I was probably the worst student, literally, in high school.
And where was this?
Carrizozo, New Mexico, which is about 120 miles north of here and 45 miles north of Tularosa. I was literally graduated 25th out of 28 students in my class. It wasn't dumb, just they never made it fun or,
Yes.
never could really. Here's the thing with teachers, and a lot of people's going to get mad about this, especially in small towns. A lot of people think they need to live in that small town their whole life. And there's not a lot of jobs in small towns. So they become educators because that's the best job in a small town. And so you don't always get the best quality. That's kind of wrong to say, but.
No, and we want to always invite innovation, authentic, raw conversation, because I think one thing that we see in education, and I love your passion, like right away setting the table, hey, wasn't the best student, and I wanted to make it better for my students. Right. So you're basically what you're saying. And, from my standpoint, similar path, I went to 7 schools in 5 years, really wanted to be able to make it easier on students to be able to have a great education no matter what zip code you live in, because right now that dictates so much of it. But there definitely can be a delicate line of people really there for the students and caring about the students, and then also some righteousness. Have you noticed that? Like, how can you make sure that you can be so real with your students? Like, right away you come in here and you're talking so freely, talking so openly. It's like, what a breath of fresh air. Were you always this way, even as a kid?
Real quiet as a kid, just as a middle child. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, kind of the black sheep. But why am I passionate about education? I like kids.
Yeah. Kids are the future.
Kids are cool.
They are. Well, and I always say, and this is part of the jadedness of life, but, a 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old, they just statistically have less upside and potential than a 10, 15, 20-year-old. Right. You still can impact a young person so much, and then hopefully they impact people so much. The butterfly effect of education is so beautiful. Before you were superintendent, what roles did you hold?
Well, I didn't start teaching until I was 35.
Amazing. Okay, so talk about that transition. How did you jump back in?
I was a rodeo guy. That's all I've ever wanted to do was rodeo.
Yeah.
And I was a steer wrestler. However, I went to college at 17. I graduated high school at 17.
Wow, it's young.
Yeah, too young to be in Las Cruces, New Mexico, New Mexico State. I'm telling you that. Then drinking age across the border 30 miles was 18 years old. So, and everybody's hearing this from around here will remember the Anthony Gap. And anyway, I flunked out of college 5 times, but I just go and would rope and bulldog and play with our horses and had many classes I never went to. So that caused me to get in the United States Navy.
Thank you for your service. We really appreciate it.
And the Navy grew me. I had to grow up there.
How many years did you do in the Navy?
4 years, 3 years, 9 months, and 11 days. But actually the best thing I ever did in my life. So
what was the most challenging part about being in the Navy?
You know what? Nothing. Really, it's not hard. It's go to work on time, and it's the work ethic. And get there, be where you're supposed to be, cut your hair, keep your uniform right. Nothing over the top.
So you come back, you did rodeo, you did the Navy, and then you stepped into
and then I rodeoed for 12 years.
Oh, you did more?
Out. In the Navy, I got to rodeo a lot. I won a little rodeo right there in town. So, and there was, I was in Washington State at Naval Air Station, Whidbey Island.
Yeah.
And so it's on Whidbey Island, right outside of Seattle. And so I started winning some rodeos, and so they let me go to the rodeos because it was good for morale. So my last year in the Navy went to 49 rodeos. So
wow.
It was fun, and I should have stayed in, but then I had sea duty. I'm like, man, I do not want to go to sea duty because there's no rodeos on the aircraft carrier. So I got out and went to Boise State for a little bit. It's like, no, we're going home. Came back to New Mexico, rodeo, ran a ranch for a little bit, and I was looking for a job. So I was taking classes. I've always taken classes, even in the Navy. I was taking classes for my mom, I think. Got an associate's degree in the Navy. Came back, was taking classes on the Hill at New Mexico State. I had a teacher, and I can't remember his name, the most amazing history teacher I've ever seen. he could get this class. There's like 30 or 40 of us in this class, and he was legally blind, but you'd be there 15 minutes early because you wanted the. I don't know, what was I, probably 30, 31 years old or something. But this room is packed, and whoever got there first got the best chairs. But he could just turn around and tell you a story.
I love that.
And I think that's where my passion for teaching came from. However, I never could be that teacher. He was way better than, you know what I mean? He was just amazing. He's still there. I want to say his name's Dr. Sutherland, something like this. So I finished in Mexico State, Alamogordo, every class I could do there, and we moved down here to finish up.
That's amazing. See, teachers are the heroes of society, and one great teacher can impact millions of lives through the butterfly effect, and that's why we're so passionate about impacting students and teachers above all else, and what can we do to help them. And I love your story about the associate's degree. I have my associate's degree as well. I think it's a very undervalued, underlooked path where folks just jump into a four-year university. They don't know what they want to study. They're taking on a lot of debt, a high propensity to drop out. And it's definitely, and it's a good time, don't get me wrong, but it's an extended adolescence of a way, a lot of partying. You know, associates, more students should look into the associate's pathway. You're able to get a really mature step into that four-year degree afterwards. And so you step into the world of teaching. You know, what was the worst thing about teaching to you? What was the hardest part?
They don't teach you to teach in college. Simply,
Yeah.
you go there. I got a bachelor's degree in history. Then I got my master's in education through curriculum and instruction. And interviewed. I got a job, Tier C. It's 60 miles north of Cruces there.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, I do not want to be in Tier C, you know, at all. So I was there 19 years.
Wow. That's a bit of a change.
Yeah.
What did you end up liking about it so much?
The people were just fantastic. They really are. The kids were fun. I got to teach history my first year there. Passion's always been agriculture, and I started college as a ag ed major. So I became an ag teacher for, 7 years or something. And it was fun. It's lots of trips and had lots of kids, and you travel a lot. You know, I've had 16 kids in Louisville, Kentucky, 3 years in a row.
Wow.
It's fun. We had a blast.
Yeah, that's a great
Won
city.
a lot of stuff. I'm competitive as I could
Yeah.
be. And so we won a lot of things, and lots of trophies and awards.
How do you teach competitiveness to kids? What do you think the best opportunity is to help kids be more competitive?
Role model. You have to be that person that's not afraid to get real.
Yeah, because I think competitiveness, especially when you enter the real world, is such an important skill, and teamwork and being able to work within a team and realize, you know, life is hard. Life isn't easy, and you're going to get put down a lot, and you're going to have people bully you and be rude to you, and you have to stay positive and help people.
Exactly. It's all about kids.
All about the kids, and you got to always center yourself with your mission. What do you think now that you've transitioned into admin and being a superintendent, how has your role in life gotten better or, you know, been able to be changed versus being in the classroom every day?
It's way different. Way different. You're the complaint department. You know, literally you are. I mean, that's
Yeah, no, I
there's
hear
a
you.
big difference from a principal to a superintendent. I mean,
What's the biggest
being a principal or assistant principal, you deal with 3% of the population of kids. When you're a teacher, you deal with, you know, I'd have 110, 120 kids a day. And as an assistant principal, disciplinarian, I deal with 3%. You deal with the little shitheads of the world.
Yeah.
But I was good at that because I was one of those shitheads.
Yeah, you have empathy for it.
Yeah, I was extremely good at that. So. And that really built upon each other. But after you're somewhere too long, they're not going to let you ever have that head roll. So you pretty much have to leave
have to
those
bounce around.
roles to get that job at a superintendency.
Is that why there's so much turnover, you think, in education? Is it's really hard to get promoted within the same district?
I do. That's a big difference for sure.
That's hard. And then when you're superintendent, I like what you said, the complaint department, you know, I'm CEO at Subject. I feel very similar. If anything comes to me, that means that nobody else has solved it. And then you're getting the most difficult, troublesome problems. Is that similar that you feel every day? When something comes on your desk, you're like, well, I got to figure this out.
Yeah. And my deal is I'm going to keep kids first.
Yes.
It's going to piss somebody off. But
it's all about the kid. I completely agree. How has your relationship with tech companies changed over the last 10 years?
with what kind of company?
Technology, ed tech.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness. I'm the world.
The good and bad. Yeah. Like, you know, 10, 15 years ago was pretty limited in the
Yeah.
classroom. And now there's 2,000 companies, all trying to cold call you, email you, conferences. Like, it's a lot for a superintendent. Like, what's your opinion on the industry?
I surround myself with extremely smart people, extremely. And man, there's so many great opportunities out there now because you can literally, you can go on a chat GPT.
Yeah, good. You like ChatGPT?
It writes all my letters.
Yeah.
But you can say, I need a quick lesson plan over this and this, and in seconds it's there. Or, Magic School Bus, or there's so many programs out there that can make it really simple for a teacher.
Yeah, and that's great, being able to save the time for a teacher. Did you use any digital curriculum in the past?
Not myself.
Yeah.
I never did. I've been in administration for, I want to say this is my 13th year. So.
Wow, congratulations. Thanks for all that you've done for students and teachers.
Yeah, I've been a transportation director, athletic director, assistant principal, and superintendent, 2 different districts.
What's your favorite role so far?
It's all good. It's fun. This job, Tularosa is an amazing place. So they've allowed us to just to change the way people think. And Rosa, how do you say it? They're about kids. And always have been. Everybody. I tell everybody, well, we're an athletic town, but it's all about kids. The whole community is that way. We have about 1,000 kids in school, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's all about the kids. What would you like to see 10 to 15 years from now in education? What would your dream outcome be for the changes in the system?
You know what? Parents. I'd like to get rid of drugs and put families back together.
Yeah, you're saying the stronger the family household and the more people are together, the more likely the child can have success.
Yeah, I see too many grandparents raising their kids.
Yeah, that's really tough.
It's every year it seems to get more, and then you see the special ed kids more and more because parents are on drugs.
Yeah, no,
it comes right down to it. It breaks up that family, and
it's horrible. Yeah, no, that's a good way to look at it, and getting more. It's proven statistically after one-on-one tutoring, one of the highest indications of success for a student is parent and family engagement.
100%. You can tell a difference. And believe me, I've seen some grandparents. They're amazing, great grandparents, but that kid still feels that loss.
No, that's huge. I think that we can really try to be able to uplift society more by having a more strong family unit, and it's better for everyone involved, and society wins. I always love to be able to wrap these conversations with speaking to your younger self. I don't know your age. You don't need to tell me.
61.
Okay, shout out. Happy birthday. We got a 61-year-old here. If you were to speak back to, you said you got into teaching at 35, correct? Mm-hmm. So if you were to speak back to your 26 years ago self, what would you say?
From what I know now?
Yeah. What would you say if you were advising?
One of the first things, and I've done this in Tularosa, I've sent 90 teachers to the Ron Clark Academy. That's the first thing I would have done to become a teacher, was go learn how to teach. It would have saved a lot of heartache throughout the time, and actually see the positive and enthusiasm you can put into education, and that makes a big difference. We start our mornings. I have 5 big speakers from my office all the way to the intermediate school, middle school, elementary school, and the music's blaring at 7:15, and kids get out of the car, and the music's loud, and we have a lot of fun with that. And it just changes the mood all day. So there's a lot of things I'd do if I could have done it, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Yeah, that would have been one huge. I'd have paid myself to go to Ron Clark. You guys know about Ron Clark?
No, we're shouting him out right now. We'll be tagging them in the release. Ron Clark
Academy in Atlanta, Georgia. It's actually, he came to one of our, we call it MCEL, Mexico Coalition of Educational Leaders.
Yeah, we went to that last year.
Okay. Yeah, he showed up there and fell in love.
Ron Clark Academy, and also make education fun again.
Exactly.
Make it fun. Kids learn so much better when it's fun for them. When it feels like a chore, when it feels like something you have to go do, an obligation, that's when they want to drop out, so they want to quit.
And teachers got to have fun.
Agreed. Teachers too. Everyone's got to have fun.
Love what they're doing. And Ron Clark says, got to make it hot, sexy, and exciting.
Yes.
And he does that. And it's uplifting. It's fun. It's busy. He literally walks across his desk, and teachers teach on stages, and they're in costume, a bunch of them. If not, teachers want to come to work in sweat clothes. It don't work that way. You need to dress.
Yeah, everyone's judging everything you do, and that's one thing we really try to do with Subject is costumes, animations, over the top voiceovers. Like we really make it fun.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
make education fun. You heard it here. I am so thankful, Todd, for your authenticity and your passion, and your students and teachers are really lucky to get to work with you. And where can we find you on social? You have a pretty limited social presence from my research before. You have a very low-key LinkedIn. Is there anywhere you want us to shout us out or tell the fans to go to?
I really don't. I have a Facebook page.
There we go, Facebook. Todd Lindsay on Facebook. If you need to find him, that's where you can find him. But we'll be releasing this incredible episode and highlighting the passion you have for innovation. We appreciate you so much. And remember, find us on YouTube or Spotify. That's where we're trying to push our fans to. On the Subject, I'm your host, Michael Vilardo. We'll be back with another episode soon. And thank you so much for your time today, Todd. Really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun. Appreciate it.
Thank you.